Hello everybody, welcome to No Lives Left. Nerdy Friend here, and I'm going to tell you a story. Now I'm going to tell you the tale of Conker's worst fur day. Conker's Worst Fur Day is supposed to be a creepypasta based off of a very great classic called Conker's Bad Fur Day, released for the N64 in the 90s. That game was awesome! So, with all good things, there's always a creepypasta based off of it, because nobody knows how to be original. So, this story has been requested to me by somebody I played an online game with, an app, no less. That was pretty awesome. This person had let me know about this creepypasta that I never heard of before. There might be a reason why I never heard of it before. So, without further ado, let's dig into this pasta. Conker's Worst Fur Day. Well, I'm so scared right now. I just played a fucked up game ROM called Conker's Worst Fur Day. Anyways, I guess I should tell you my story. When I was younger, I owned an N64, and for my birthday I got a game called Conker's Bad Fur Day. It was a game meant for adults due to swearing, blood, nudity, sexual references, etc. But my parents just saw the cover and thought, oh, this looks like a cute game, perfect for our son's birthday. In parentheses it says, update, my parents got me a used copy of the game and they probably didn't see the rating because it was smaller on the cartridge. Unparentheses. Anyways, I used to love that game. In parentheses, it says, I did not tell my parents about it because I knew they would return it. Unparentheses. Anyways, I loved playing through it and I laughed a lot. In parentheses, it says, I would have laughed more if I knew what some of the jokes meant before. Unparentheses. Okay, so earlier today, I was watching a YouTube video about Sonic, and I came across a video called Eggman is the Great Mighty Pooh. I knew I heard that somewhere when I saw something called Conker's Bad Fur Day, Great Mighty Pooh. Okay, so after seeing this, I thought, hey, I remember this game. Suddenly, I felt an extremely big urge to play the game. I already had an N64 emulator, in parentheses, it says Project 64, parentheses, which I used to relive games like Mario 64, Zelda, etc. So I googled Conker ROM exactly like that. After I hit I'm feeling lucky. I don't remember the site name because I wanted to play the game. It opened a near blank page with just a button in the middle that says download Conker's Worst Fur Day.zip. I know it sounds dumb that I didn't notice that the name was odd, but I clicked the button anyway. It began to download, and when it was done, I started playing. Reserving judgment. It didn't open like with the cute jumping N64 logo and Conker cutting it in half with a chainsaw. It started with a gray squirrel, like the one, in parentheses says, like the one in the bar on the main menu, parentheses, running in a poorly lit room. Then a mangled, bloody, wounded Conker appeared behind him and sawed him in half with a chainsaw, spilling guts, bones, etc. everywhere. Then Conker looked at the screen with his torn up, bloody face and said, "You're in for hell, fucker." The voice of Conker seemed off. It was a lot deeper, and the audio quality was very bad. Okay. The strange thing was that in Conker, the word fuck is censored, but in this ROM, it wasn't. I didn't realize this at first, and damn, that was a bad idea to keep going with the ROM. Anyway, the game started with Conker entering the bar as usual, but instead of the menu showing up, when Conker entered the bar, all you could hear was loud, eerie, depressing moaning. I instantly turned down the volume because I'm very paranoid of certain sounds. Moaning relates to an incident that dates back to my childhood in a scary movie. I'm sorry, I'll keep going. Then out from under the door of the bar, blood started seeping through and mixing in the puddles from the rain. Then the screen faded out to black. Then it showed me the beginning area where you start the game and you have a hangover. Finally, I can play, I thought. Oh, God. That was not a good thing. Anyways, I started, but there was no cutscene and Conker was fine. I pressed B and Conker swung a chainsaw, then put it away. Cool, I get a chainsaw instead of the stupid frying pan. Anyways, I jumped the fence and to speak to Birdie. But when I walked up to him, Conker looked at him and said, "Hey, shithead, give me some help." Then Birdie, the scarecrow, looked at him and said, "Why the fuck do you need anything? You know how to play, moron." WTF, I thought. I just took a breath and continued. It was true, I learned the controls by running around a bit before talking to Birdie. Then Conker looked to Birdie and said, "You fucking shithole, I'll cut your fucking head off." Then a light bulb appeared above Conker's head. I pressed the B button, and the game entered a cutscene. It was very dark for some reason, and the place was only illuminated by constant lightning flashes. Anyhow, the game just flashed a picture of Conker killing Birdie with his chainsaw. Then the same Conker voice said, "Rotten hell, fucker." Although the game still showed the dark room, after Conker suddenly appeared in the black area, then I got to play again, and I noticed that this was the same place where Birdie was, but Birdie was gone now. I made my way up the mountain path, but the gargoyle was not there, and for some odd reason, there was a strange hissing noise in the background, so I headed in the cave. I was expecting to appear in the bright, happy field with the nasty or nice fork in the road, but instead Conker entered the path up to the haunted house. I walked up, but I forgot about the skeleton snakes and got attacked by one, but instead of being chewed up and spit out, it showed the snake put Conker on the ground and start mauling him, biting him over and over, revealing his guts, bones, and eyes start spilling out. Jesus. And the skeleton snake let out a demonic cry, then jumped out of the road and dug back into the ground. I was waiting for the game to restart back at the checkpoint, but instead, it showed a fucked up, hurt, bloody, wounded Conker in a seemingly endless room filled with zombies, like, in parentheses it says, like from the graveyard level, on parentheses. It showed Conker on the ground, guts, blood, etc., lying all around him. Then it showed his face. I got so shocked from the scene, I turned around and let my stomach settle, and then I looked back at the cut up, bloody Conker face. He was missing his eyes, and it simply showed empty sockets. Then after he let out a moan, he said, "You never know a good thing until it is gone." When Conker said gone, it was so loud and terrifying I shut off the sound. The sound startled me so badly I nearly pissed myself. So I ran to the bathroom and returned. The screen showed Conker being devoured by endless amounts of zombies, and then all that was left was the disturbing head of Conker. The zombies faced the screen and started walking towards it. Then I tried pressing B, and when I did, a shotgun was pulled out. In parentheses, the game seemed like a first-person shooter, so it was like Halo, sort of. I pressed, unquote, on parentheses, I pressed Z and it fired a shot holding off the zombies. I remembered that in Conker, zombies must get a headshot to die, so I killed them one by one until there were no more. Suddenly, the Conker head began to moan a little bit, so I ran over, knowing that I would have to see the head, but I felt like I had to do it. The screen showed Conker's head lying there, and he said, "Don't be like me. Learn to love, and don't love money. Be kind. Promise me you will do this." The game didn't do anything, and by now I had tears running down my face, and I nodded my head. Then Conker's head let out one last gap and said, "Good." Now it sounded like Conker, and the screen darkened out, and the emulator closed itself. Then I deleted the ROM and turned off my computer. Even now I can still hear his voice, echoing in the back of my head, but I know that ROM was a message to me. I used to be greedy. I was a porn addict, etc. So let it be a message to you, okay? Good. Oh god. Update! I've tried to return to the site that had the ROM on it, but I managed to get the ROM out of the recycling bin. I can only get a screenshot of the ROM for some reason. And when I try to load the ROM, I get a window that says error, attempt to open zip file failed, missing a corrupt file, check path and file. You may need to restart the application. I've tried to extract the file, but that didn't work, so I got it onto my new computer and it still doesn't work. I'm not going to upload the ROM either. Nobody deserves to go through the same thing that I did. And that is the story of Conker's Worst Fur Day. This sucked. Now let's go over each of the problems that I found. Alright, first one was that there were so many anyways and parentheses moments where it's like these parentheses kind of make you feel like you have to know the game first. And the anyways, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Using anyways in a story kills the mood. I mean, it takes a chainsaw and cuts right through the story if I'm going to use any references to Conker at all. I'm going to use the chainsaw analogy. Now, I understand that this character, or whoever's character, that this author is trying to give you the feel of the game and how certain things are supposed to be compared to the haunted version or whatever, but there were so many commas, run-off sentences that I started losing myself very badly. Like, where's the good example? There's this big-ass paragraph in here that's like, maybe 2 sentences? Okay, 3. Okay, it's 3 sentences, but it's a huge paragraph because most of it is parentheses, quote, whatever, things stuck in parentheses, and just run sentences. And the anyways, and the anyways, and the anyways. I really should just count how many anyways that are on here, but I'm not gonna like count it right now. I'll do that in editing. I'm gonna be honest. Now, okay, the anyways kills it, the parentheses kill it. It became so like a sort of chore to read through this. That I'm just saying that as a reader. As a writer, you don't do that. You don't want to just write down everything as you see it in the form of like a report, practically. That's what it seemed like. And there were quotes or things that were supposed to be in quotation marks and they weren't. Like, here's an example. The part in the very beginning says, "But my parents just saw the cover and thought, oh, this looks like a cute game perfect for our son's birthday." At least to the point where it says, "Oh, this looks like a cute game." There should have been quotation marks right there and at the end of son's birthday. That should have been a quote, or maybe like thought bubbles kind of thing. I don't know. It's like italics. I don't even care. It's got to have some kind of indication that it's supposed to be someone else's thought, because that threw me off. There's a few more moments like that. And let's see, that part where Conker talks to the character. So you never know a good thing until it's gone. That was awful. There's a different way that you can go about quoting stuff that seems like someone's having a hard time spitting out the damn words. Instead of, you never know a good thing until it's gone, just written out like that, or the ... that I'm seeing in between the parts. It says, like, you never know ... a good ... a good thing ... until ... until it ... it is ... gone. That's annoying. That's annoying. Don't do it. You could say instead, okay. Then after he let out a moan, he said, and you stop right there, say, in labored breaths, or sounding like his words were labored, he said, and then you never know a good thing until it's gone. Let the reader have some kind of imagination, at least a little bit. It makes it seem more like it's more open to a little bit of interpretation, and when you let somebody have at least a little bit of information and leave some to the imagination, it makes it that much more interesting. I mean, take Five Nights at Freddy's, for example. There's the story for that. It only gives you little, like, snippets of hints of what's going on in the story, and the rest is left to imagination. And you see how popular that is? It's simply put, you just leave a little bit of information, leave a lot to the imagery, like have imagery, have some clues, and then leave the rest to imagination. Don't leave too much to the imagination. You just gotta find that right amount. What would keep you interested in the story? Think about it from a reader's perspective, like I do. Like, think about what keeps a person's interest and what starts to lose their interest, and find ways to bring that back. Keep people interested in your story because it's good. Let's see, there is that part at the very, very end. It says update in all caps. If you know anything from my previous videos, you know that when I see caps lock, the word update is caps lock. So I screamed it or yelled it, whatever. It's what I do, because it shows how stupid it is to put something like that in a story. There was a few moments in here where it said update, and that was right at the very beginning. There was one in the middle somewhere, and then there was one at the end. And it was like, the word update, it is so terrible. It kills the story. I've said that before, I'll say it again. It kills the story. Unless that's a very important part of the story, I don't want to hear nothing about update. Unless we're talking about a computer being the main character or something, Like, you throw an update, like, as if you've written the story already, and then you come back to it later and be like, by the way, here's my Monday report. I tried this and it didn't work. That's exactly what this point at the very end is. Like, he says, update, I tried to return to the site that had the ROM on it, and it wasn't there. And then he quotes a error message from the computer, whatever, error, attempt to open zip file failed, but he didn't leave quotation marks in this part either. Threw me off a little bit because it had a capital E in the word error, and I'm like, wait, is that a grammatical error? Oh, no, that happens to be a quote. Quoting something on a computer, an error message, and it wasn't in quotes. So it's like, really? You notice I laughed a little bit somewhere in the middle. Oh, where was that? It was something about, where was it? At the very beginning of the game. Let's see. Oh, here it is. When Conker entered the bar, all you could hear was a loud, eerie, depressing moaning. I instantly turned down the volume because I'm very paranoid of certain sounds. Moaning relates to an incident that dates back to my childhood and a scary movie. I have a very big problem with this. Okay, let me list off the ways that I have this problem with it. First of all, when the fuck does that matter to the game? This game that's supposed to be some kind of creepypasta, has nothing to do with this protagonist's fear of scary movie moaning. You know, when I was reading that initially, I thought, moaning, huh? Huh. I'll leave that to the imagination. And I thought that was actually quite hilarious, because not only was I not expecting something like that, but it killed the story. Okay, I don't mind a little bit of character development. Bleh, can't even spit out the words. I don't mind a little bit of character development, but one of the worst things you could do is put character development in places where it shouldn't be. This is one of those cases. Character development needs to be done in a different place than putting down the details for a setting in a video game. You don't do that. Okay, you turned down the volume because it scared you. Simple as that. Or it made me a little anxious, so I turned down the volume. I was expecting something louder. Or, I don't know. Fuck. This was a bad place to put some kind of character development. So, okay, we know this character's a pussy. Seriously, moaning? That's gonna scare you? What are you, 2? Jesus Christ. Okay. To be fair, I know some people do get paranoid of shit like this, but that usually ends when you stop being a pussy, like about 15 or so. Jesus Christ. It's just moaning, like, you know, is that scary? Good God. Grow some balls. Okay, yeah, it does indicate, this story does indicate, gender for the protagonist. It's a boy. It says son's birthday, so yeah, it's definitely a dude. Grow some balls! Okay, that's beside the point. So I assume this character is actually older than 15 because he talks about being addicted to porn right at the end of the story. It's like the last runoff sentence in the story. Even now, I can still hear his voice echoing in the back of my head. I know that ROM was a message to me. I used to be greedy. I was a porn addict, etc. That was a whole sentence. I took that break because I ran out of breath. Okay, greedy and a porn addict. You obviously are older than adolescent, so even bigger of a pussy. So, a porn addict, huh? Why do I get the feeling like that was a bit off the fucking wall? It really, really was just off the wall. I bet your parents are proud that you're a porn addict. Great. So let this be a message to you. Okay, good. Okay, good. I guess that's a part of the story. Just right after that porn addict sentence right there. Just let that be a message to you. Okay, good. Great quotation. Quotation? No. Great sentence there. It's like, talking to you, I get it. But it doesn't feel right the way that was put. There are better ways to word that sort of thing. Don't put a period point right after a message to you, okay? Don't put a period point after that. Just put a comma and then okay in the question mark. That'll be fine. Take out the word good and that'll be fine. So let that be a message to you, okay? That would be fine. But this person obviously does not know how to write. My last beef will be the ETC. The only ETC I know is from Warcraft. Just kidding. So, the ETC is supposed to be etc., but I have a really big problem when it's not written fully. This is just the acronym. What the fuck? If you're gonna write ETC, better finish the rest of the fucking word. Because not everybody gets that right off the bat. Let's be honest. And if you're gonna write a good story, you're not gonna put ETC. It seems like the story was a bit rushed and didn't want to get into all that blood and guts and ETC. That's fucking annoying. That's annoying. Nobody likes that. And again, it just takes away from the story. It's just awful. I hate it when people do that. So, to recap, character development was in the wrong places. Quotation marks were missing. Updates were annoying as balls. And the way that words or sentences could be executed, like the quotes from Conker when he had a problem spitting out words, even with his severed head on the ground, he's just saying stuff like, don't be like me. I had a problem with that because there was a lot of dots in between words, and it was very annoying to read. Don't do it. Let's see. The anyways was annoying as balls. And Gray Squirrel turning Conker into a blended red mess. That was weird and stupid, but I get it, I guess. Supposed to give some kind of scary feel, but it missed the mark really badly. I mean, I would believe this story a little bit better if it was written correctly. Oh, I just noticed this. One more thing. Right in here where Birdie, the Scarecrow, looks at Conker, takes a breath and continued, or whatever, he goes, looked at him and said, why the fuck do you need anything you know how to play, moron? Right after that, there is a grammatical error. I'm seeing it right now. It's right after Birdie's sentence, there's a period point, then a quotation mark, and then another period point. That is incorrect. You don't do that. Just don't do that. You take out that second period point because it's not necessary. The quotation was the end of it. It was the end of the sentence. And that should have been the point where you break the next part off into another paragraph. Last thing, right after that sentence, it says, WTF, question mark, I thought, period point. Not correct. Not correct. Not correct! Kills the story, and it's not a full thought. If you're gonna say, what the fuck, or welcome to Facebook, or where's the food, say it. Acronyms, don't say it. It's not correct, and since there's so many acronyms, I just listed off 3. It could be anything. So, welcome to Facebook, I thought. Where's the food, I thought. It doesn't make sense, does it now? You're leaving way too much for the imagination. You just don't do it. You're gonna put an acronym? Don't put an acronym. Just finish the thought. Finish the words. You're writing a damn story. If you want it to be scary, you write it correctly. I'm sorry, I'm ranting. But then it has that moment where it's got the chainsaw instead of the frying pan, so you kill Birdie, and then he's just gone. Like, right after that, that's just it. Anyways. Yeah, the story sucked. So, if I had to give it a rating, I would say, well, it's better than Sonic.exe, that's for sure. Oh, whatever. I'll just give it a 3 out of 10. That's being generous, considering Sonic.exe was the lowest rating, and I gave it, a 2? So, thank you so very much for sticking with me and learning quite a bit on grammar and punctuation and all that nice shit. And I hope you learned a few things about this story. So, thanks again. We have a Facebook page. I'll leave a link on the description below and at the end of this video. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share with your family and friends. Maybe they'll learn something too. You never know. And we have a DeviantArt channel for fan art and the like. I post pictures of thumbnails whenever I draw them. I do updates on Twitter as well. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and tell everybody you know about us. So this has been No Lives Left, and this is Nerdy Friend signing off. See you next time.